It's Sunday, the 12th of November, and today was Wandering Market Day. And I took a picture of some of the woven alpaca goods. Oh man, if only I was rich enough. Those were nice. They were so soft. It was like touching clouds. So I'll insert that picture right about here. And you also saw a picture, Dan's unloading the car. And I'd meant to bring the camera and show you the whole market. It's amazing. If you live in Saskatchewan, you have got to get on Facebook, look up From Farm to Folk, the Wandering Market. From Farm to Folk, F-O-L-K, the Wandering Market. It's a young family that are trying to bring wholesome, nourishing food directly from the farm to the city. And oh man, there's some good stuff. And there's like people making kefir, and there's people making chocolates, and man, do I go for this stuff. I mean, I really go for this stuff. They even have really nice organic caramel corn, and this one's brand new. See, and when you go there, like, first of all, the ideal is to order in advance. And then you pay with e-transfer, and then they have the capital to be able to go and pay the farmers for this stuff, pay for the fuel up from Moose Jaw with their truck, pay for the rental of the hall at the Travel Lodge, and do the whole shebang. If you show up at the Travel Lodge, which is where they're holding it now for the winter, they also have local people like who might be at the farmers market but maybe can't quite afford the cost of a booth at the farmers market, are invited to come out with their goods. And so there's a couple there that do custom crafted herbs, healing herbs, and teas, and jams, and pickles, and oh, yum. And there was one, Lindo. These are rum-filled chocolates. Ah, I would make these if I could figure out how, and I'm so happy to be able to just eat something someone else made. Everything's made organic. You really don't need to go, what's in this? For one thing, things are properly labeled. But for another thing, you know, like, this doesn't use corn syrup. This has coconut palm sugar, chocolate with golden cane sugar, cacao mass, and cacao butter, and honey, and baking soda. Contains real food. All ingredients local and or organic where feasible. And then there's contact information for the people who make it. Other stuff like the pickles, it may have written on it, made in a kitchen, where is it? Produced in small batches with the greatest attention to quality and freshness. Made in a home kitchen that is not inspected by a government agency. So, and granted, you may want to be a little worried in some cases, but so far I've found that the quality is 100%. There's nobody in there who's cheating a little bit. The Wandering Market, wow. This was on the way to the Wandering Market, and that van there missed me narrowly. He didn't even slow down. I had to scoot over to the side to avoid getting clipped. I tell you, it just spoiled my whole drive. In that dash cam footage, I'm sure I included that jerk on the way out who almost ran into me. I'll give you an example of even when you're being a good driver, you're still at risk. He didn't even slow down for that turn. He comes screaming out of a secondary street onto a main street that only has enough room for one car at a time, in snow so thick that we're skating, and the whole time he's grinning at me like, oh, we're all having so much fun. It's like, buddy, I get it. You don't care about your car. You don't care if it gets crunched. You don't care that when insurance comes down, you're going to get a fraction of what it costs to replace it, because in fact you got it on a really good deal and you're going to get another junker on a good deal, and you don't care. I, on the other hand, probably can't fix this car a second time. I definitely did not get enough money to replace it, and we barely were able to repair it for the money that we got. And I think the odds of me being able to do that again are very slim, because the amount of money they're going to give me for it is going to go down. Why aren't my rates going down? The car's 10 years old. Shouldn't I be getting a break on the rates by now? I'm paying the same as I did when it was new. I really ought to have a chat with them about that. I doubt that it would be much use, though. So, yeah, even when you're a good driver, you're still at risk from other drivers. At any rate, I don't know if you noticed, I don't know how much of it showed up because I haven't looked at that footage yet. But yeah, I saw him coming out the corner of my eye, and so I pulled over as far as I could as soon as I cleared the parked cars. And I think it's the only reason I didn't get tagged, actually. So, I don't know, man. Why don't people... I'm just looking forward to the day we have auto cars. Speaking of which, I think I mentioned this before. The automatic drive car software is rapidly advancing. They've got the rallies in the desert where your robot car has to finish the rally first. They've got rallies in suburban and parking lot zones to test things like being able to park on its own and being able to negotiate various obstacles. It's coming a long way, and by the time they get that software ready for the consumer market, you know what? Just about every Ford now has lane keeping assist, parking assist, brake assist. What is that except eyes and controls? The camera can already see when you're too close to something, and it can slow down or speed up or stop completely to keep you from hitting it. The car can already see where the parking spot is, and it can reverse and drive forward, and it can turn its wheels back and forth and run its brakes. The car can already see where the lane edges are just by going by lane markings, which wouldn't help here in Saskatchewan. That's one of the reasons we don't have automatic drive yet. But the car now has all of the technical equipment and computer that it needs to be an auto drive car. The brand new cars that everybody's buying are already equipped for automatic driving. The only thing missing is the finished software. And the software is going to have to be up to the challenge of driving on a snow-covered winter road with no lane markings at all, by GPS, without going into the ditch. It's going to have to be able to spot a semi ahead of it in thick fog or a blizzard. It's going to have to be able to negotiate through a twisty, windy, little narrow street in the dark and the rain. So using LiDAR does eliminate a lot of those problems, because with LiDAR it can see it can see everything going on around it better than you can behind the wheel. But it's still going to have trouble finding the edges of the road when it's a complete sheet of white snow, so thick that even the ditches are full. Now, the average human being won't drive in that, let alone a computerized car, but you could bet they're going to expect their computer car to be able to. And I remember my husband did that one year. He had to come home in a snowstorm, and there was no sign of the road, and what he did was he crept along using GPS and a general sense of straight and not straight, and feel in the wheels to figure out. And that's something else that I hope they do teach the computers on the cars, is to read the texture that the wheels are traveling over. Because when I drive, I'm reading my wheels. I can feel the vibrations in the car. I can feel it through my seat. I can feel it through the pedals, and I can even feel it through the steering wheel. You can feel when the texture changes. Now we're on tarmac. Now we're on gravel. Now we're on something soft and grassy or sand. And by that, it's one of the many little ways that we use to direct our car and to keep our car on the road. We don't just use our eyes, and we don't just drive by eye. We drive by feel. And we know when the car's going a little too fast around the turn because there's just a little too much pull to the side. And we know that at least a good driver who has practiced in safe situations till he's got the feel of his car knows at what point in those G-forces the back wheels are going to break loose and he's going to lose traction. And he knows how much traction he's going to lose. And a very good driver can drift, which is to say a complete loss of traction, but not control. And until a computerized car can do that, I don't think it's going to be quite ready for full-on consumer. I mean, in a perfect environment like Las Vegas or Los Angeles, where everything's well marked and it never rains and it never snows, you can do a lot more. But you saw those roads. It's like Siberia out here. If it can't do it in Siberia, it's not ready for the market. So I am going to end this video now. I'm going to assume that I've got enough footage with the photographs and the dash cam footage to fill out a nice 25 to 30 minute video, or 20 minutes. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.